What is going on, listeners?
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I would do even more better if you would tell me about this wonderful app we're using.
I think you might be to put a little much on it, but okay. Let me tell you about this wonderful app we're using. We're using Anchor.
Anchor.
And if you don't know what Anchor is, if you've ever wanted to do a podcast, listen to podcasts, want to start a podcast, want to do a podcast with your friends, Anchor is the best place to get started. Point blank, period. Because number one,
it is free, guys.
Free 99er.
Absolutely free.
Can't beat free.
No, can't beat it.
And
all.
I mean, there's a creation tool, helps you record and edit right from your phone or computer, however you feel like it, so you can get it just the way you like it. If you don't have, all the equipment, it's not going to stop you from recording or creating a podcast. That's all yours. Right?
Right.
Yeah, love the input. Anchor will also help distribute your podcast so it can be heard just about anywhere, such as
Spotify,
and
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean.
Yeah, that's a good one that you just learned today.
Or wherever you listen to your podcast
wherever.
at, you can find Date Night on there.
Ooh, nice plug. And you can monetize your podcast, no minimum listenership. Start making that good old money just for having people, listen to your podcast, your thoughts that probably no one else should ever hear. But, hey, that's what podcasts are for, right?
Right.
It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So if I were you, I would go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm. Where's it at, babe?
Anchor.fm.
Start your podcast today.
Hey.
There he is. It's the big guy. Get in here. Wait till you see the spread. Anything you want.
Yeah, well, get what you want to go. The ferry leaves in 25 minutes. We gotta get out of here.
Oh, what's your problem? Have some of this stuff.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, John. I'm fried.
Soft mattress?
Yeah, that could have been it. It could have been the soft mattress, or it could have been the midnight rape, or the nude gay art show that took place in my room. One of those probably added to the lack of sleep.
Try one of these scones. You're gonna love them.
I'm a little too traumatized to have a scone. Let's move.
Will you slow down for a second? The whole eye drop thing backfired. Okay, it didn't work. She had to leave me and go attend to him. Why are you looking at me like that?
You're falling for this broad.
No! I just met her.
Exactly. I'm gonna go.
You can't go.
Watch me. Watch me take this on down the road.
Look, if you leave, Gloria is gonna freak out and throw a shit fit. And it's gonna go into crisis lockdown mode here at the house.
I don't give a baker's fuck. I just had my own sock duct taped into my mouth last night.
Well, what?
Yeah, the sock that I wore around all day, playing football in, pouring sweat in, was shoved into my mouth, and then was duct taped over it.
Well, let's talk about it. I'm a good listener.
I'm not in a place to discuss what happened, okay? I felt like Jodie Foster in The Accused last night.
If I had you all I feel.
Welcome back to the final episode of our month of marriage.
This is the final episode?
Yes, we don't have another one after this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is indeed the final episode of our month of marriage, our wedding extravaganza.
Ooh. How long have we been married?
Almost in June 9th, it'll be 2 months.
Yes.
So yeah,
It's been a great 2 months. Yes. So thank you guys for tuning in to
You gotta let me know
I did.
when
I
you're
did
doing
the
that.
hand movement.
I had a
Okay,
beer in my
let's
hand.
do this again.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you guys for tuning in too.
Date night.
Yes, sir. I am
Yes.
Tracy.
And I am Kiana.
And we are going to bring you the greatest movie reviews you have ever seen in your or heard. I guess you're not really watching. You've ever heard in your life.
Woo.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get any of what you're doing there.
Oh, so what movie are we doing, love?
Well, I mean, you picked it, but I guess I'll introduce it.
Yeah, because I mean,
We're doing Wedding Crashers. This is the second movie we have with the word wedding right in the title. So, you know, a little on the nose.
Right.
I find it amusing, though,
What?
that the last episode we did before we went to break was Why Did I Get Married? Which fits exactly with this theme,
Yeah, what we're
even though it
doing.
was like completely accidental. Man, we had a lot of movies we could have put in there. We had War of the Roses we could have put in
Oh,
here.
yeah.
There's another one, and I was thinking about it earlier. Now I just forgot it.
But these ones are more so of them getting married.
Yes and no.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but like also no.
Why no?
I don't know.
Okay, valid point. I like it.
I don't like your sarcasm. I am not a fan of your sarcasm
Oh,
right
man.
now.
So let's go ahead and dive right in.
Dive right in.
We start off with John and Jeremy, played by
Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
yes, and they are divorce mediators.
You know, it's never really said what their actual job is. We just know that they're mediating this divorce.
Yeah.
Because they're not lawyers, because they have the lawyers are there. Is that what they do, like full time or what? I don't.
They just they're mediators, I would say.
The irony of that is ridiculous that they crash weddings and then they help break up weddings. Because he's like, what is it? Because they're going. I love this because I remember you told me about this with the lady whom they're talking.
This is how it came about to me introducing you to this movie.
Yeah,
because
because you
say
can.
something. I was like, shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, they're arguing about like the trivial shit of doing this divorce, like splitting up the assets or whatnot. And they get to the frequent flyer miles or whatever, which I still don't know what the fuck those are.
don't know
You know, I
either.
guess that's rich people shit. One day, babe, we're gonna be there.
But yeah, you got Jeremy. He's just talking. I love Vince Vaughn when he does this because
He just
it's so
rants?
funny to me. Yeah, but he says it. He talks so fast when he's on his rants, and it just makes me think like, is that part of the movie, or did he just go off and just did that by himself? Like,
That's got to be like a Chicago thing because he does that. Bill Murray does that, and they're both from. I think Bill Murray. Yeah, Bill Murray's from Chicago. Like when they in all their movies, when they go on like their rants, they're really good at just like it feels like, oh man, that's no way that's scripted or anything like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
they just go. Because he's like, you know, hey, you want to get married? Man, the wedding was good. You know, we had the songs. They would start singing everything, and he's like.
shout. They both started singing.
Yeah,
shout.
exactly. And Owen Wilson can't keep up though. He's just like, yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
all that, everything you're saying.
It's all like, okay, you guys want to give us some frequent flyer miles? We'll
I'll take
that
some.
too.
Well, yeah, he basically gets them to agree on the flyer miles by reminding them that there were good times. Now we can get
And kind
past
of by
that.
annoying them as well.
Yeah, because he was like, could you just stop talking for a minute, please? That's what he said. But she's like, he was like, no, I get the flyer miles. She was like, why? So you can go see your whore? He's like, if you mean she's sexually liberated, then yes, I guess she's a whore.
And I'm like, you
She's-
shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
She's a stripper.
Oh, yeah. So then after that part, we get back to Jeremy and his assistant. I'm guessing she comes in and drops a sleeping bag off to him. And she was like, what do you need the sleeping bag for? And he was like, oh, I sleep at John's house on his birthday every night. And she's like, oh, okay, well, that's not creepy. And he's all like, well, yeah, I guess it is a little creepy when his parents die a day before his birthday. And, his best friend made a pact with him that he'll go to his house every night and spend the night.
Yeah, every year for his birthday, they go over, they do a little sleepover with him, which we never actually see. So it's kind of pointless.
Well, kind of, we do a little bit, but then, yeah, we'll get to that part.
Yeah, but then he goes and he's letting them know, like, who is it? Jeremy goes to John and he's like, it's wedding season, son. Like, you ready? You got your A game? You ready?
And John's all excited. He claps. He does that white man
That
clap.
like when it's like, yeah, all right.
I just throwing a random clap there.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. And it's hilarious because now they're talking about weddings. They're planning it out like it's a heist. And that's the great, like, how long do you think they've been doing this?
It had to be for some years now because later on down the line, John starts like having some realization that he's kind of feeling like he's kind of getting too old for this.
Yeah. Like, well, it's
So I
like at
feel
the
like-
last wedding when they go.
Yeah, so I think they've been doing it's been years.
It has to have been, but we get to this wedding season and they're crashing all these weddings under different names, and they're pretty good because they're just like, they go to the Jewish wedding and they're like, oh, I'm this guy and that's this guy, and then they're
they have a whole planned out. They have it written down, study, and they do. They study their weddings before they go. Which I was asking you, like when we were watching it, are these weddings just in the newspapers? Like, how are they finding these weddings?
I feel like besides the one that is, the rest of them can't just randomly be in the newspaper. I think what they're doing is actually like he's looking up booked wedding chapels and then doing the research there, finding out, oh, who's getting married. That's how he knows which names to go under and stuff like. Because there's no way, like, yeah, I've never seen a wedding in the newspaper just randomly, and
I've never really looked through a newspaper.
well,
like
then
that, so.
why are you shaking your head? No, like
I meant like, yeah, like no, I don't know. That's what I'm shaking it for.
But yeah, so they're going to all these weddings and stuff, and it's a montage of all these weddings at the same time, and they're hits. They're like big, and people, they're having a good time. People are just like, yeah, come on, dance.
Heck yeah, they're taking pictures with the
These
groom and the bride.
motherfuckers are
They're
giving
cutting-
speeches.
Yes, giving speeches, cutting the cakes with the groom and the bride, and then feeding the cakes to them. I'm just all like, dang, like yeah, they are a really big hit at every wedding they go to.
They're giving speeches though. I'm sorry if someone I do not know is giving a speech at my wedding. Like what the? They have microphones.
Like, who are they? Like,
but everybody, like they've convinced at least a few people because in every wedding they go to, someone's like, well, who is that? They're like, oh, that's Aunt such and such's. Oh, that's Uncle such and such's kid, and that's such and such's They went to an Asian wedding and convinced them that they were adopted.
yes,
The
like
fuck. How good do you have to be at
exactly.
convincing? Like
they're very good talkers.
they're just very charming.
And then they're just scoping out girls the whole time, though. They're being creeped.
But that's like the end of it because they're having a legitimately good time at these weddings. He's doing magic for kids, and they're having a fucking good time.
But they're only doing these things to impress the girls that they're trying to sleep with.
I mean, look, if you just happen to have a good time along the way of your ultimate plan, I don't care. Let's do it. So yeah, so obviously, yeah, they're starting to, we get to see them taking down some of their conquests, so to speak.
Oh, and then they have it to where they get them slow dancing and their favorite line. We lost so many good men out there.
And was that one girl with the Yankees? And he's like,
yeah, it was
like
so
the
many
trades.
I just don't want to talk about it. It's just like, all
That's
right.
so dumb. Like it's the part where like you start forgetting the lie you're telling or which one you're telling it to. It's like you told her you were with the Yankees and then said we lost so many good men. Like you can't do those things are not interchangeable. So get it together.
So now we're still in the montage, and now they're sleeping with all these women that they've met. You see them tossing them on the bed, and then
It's actually a pretty cool shot of like the dip when they're dancing to like them falling on the bed. That's actually a pretty good transition.
Mm-hmm, I'm sure.
Shut up. Wasn't enough titty for me.
I wonder why they never put girls with big boobs on here. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, then they got one. They got one just as I was saying it. I was like, man, what is it with white guys with small titties?
So then after the whole montage is over, this is John is laying down next to whatever girl he just slept with, and he called her the wrong name. And he was like, yeah, that's what I meant to say.
He didn't even really apologize for it. He was like,
he didn't. Just
yeah.
that. And she's like, so would you say you're completely full of shit?
Or just like 50%.
No, not completely.
He was like, I hope that 50%, but who knows? But you can say like right there, he's kind of feeling like that self-loathing, like where he's like, man, this was fun when we were young, but this shit is.
Because he's starting to have thoughts, and that's when, like, in the next shot, him and Jeremy are talking.
They're outside of a wedding.
Yeah, and he's like talking to him about like, do you think like this is just too much now? Like we need to be doing something else. And Jeremy's all like, why? Like this is the life.
Well, yeah, because he's just like, John is kind of like, we've been doing this for a long time, and you ever think there's more? And he's just like, nah, no, sir, not me. And he's just like, yeah, you get to see him. He was like, we're two young guys having a good time. He was like, we're not that young though.
Yeah. For real. So then, John is in his office and he's on a phone call, and Jeremy bursts through the doors and telling them that the secretary, Cleary, is having a wedding.
The Kentucky Derby of weddings is how he described it.
It was his daughter, the secretary's daughter's wedding, and he's just all like, we need to do this. Do you know how many girls is going to be there? And
well, I also think because he was also like, oh, Secretary Cleary, like, this is your guy. This is like, I'm trying to hook you up with maybe a job or something like that. So that's what I thought was like the original plan.
So he knew him though.
Well, yeah,
like
because
he knew of him.
Yeah, because when they meet, he starts telling them like,
I
oh, I'm a huge fan.
I thought he just like read, because when Jeremy bought that notebook, I thought he just read everything like
no.
So
well,
quick.
that's what I'm saying. When he says it, because he comes in and he's like, oh, it's Secretary Cleary. Like, this is your guy. I set this up for you, kind of deal. So that's what I thought maybe was like the outside of obviously sleeping with somebody. That was the plan. Like, maybe you can get in good. Maybe you can, you're going to meet your hero kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because he does kind of feel that way at times. So
yeah. So they go over it. They go over their characters, who they're going to be. And
like I said, maple syrup salesman.
He was like, no, you don't know anything about maple syrup.
He was like, what are you talking about? I know everything about maple syrup. I like maple syrup. I put it on everything. I put it on pancakes. I put it in my hair sometimes. How do you think it gets so slick? Like
I like, what do you say? What kind of cereal did he say he liked? I like this cereal, but you don't see me going on rants about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just said cereal in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was, I don't know. That was a bad one. He was like, come on, man, this is the big leagues. You're doing amateur shit right now.
Pretty
maple
much.
syrup
Let's
salesman.
get it together. Let's get our heads on.
Oh my God. So we get into this wedding. They're kind of seeing people. They're in the wedding. They're taking bets. Well, they're talking because it's like weird when he was like, this is the big leagues. Get your shit together. He was like, I'm a coxman. Yeah. And everyone just looks back at him like,
everybody turned around.
The
He's like, I'm so sorry about it.
Tourette's.
Yeah, he was like, I don't care. You think I care about these people? Jeremy gives no fucks.
Yeah, they start taking bets on like, they were like, oh, $20 says she cries right now. And they were like, nah, she's not going to cry. Then she gets up there. And before they even start to do, it's like, dearly beloved. And she just burst out into the fucking ugliest tears I've ever seen.
Before we get to that, too, when they were talking, a guy introduced himself. And they introduced themselves as Aunt Ned's kids. And he was like, oh, Aunt Ned. I mean,
Aunt Liz. It's Aunt Liz and Uncle Ned.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, how is she? Or how are they? He's like, everybody's fine. Aunt Liz wishes her best. And he was all like, she's dead. And he was all like, John was just like, oh, I mean, and then Jeremy jumps and he was like, from the grave. She sends her best from the grave.
And it's like, because that is a weird thing. Like, you're committing to the name of this person. And what are the odds? I don't think throughout all of the other weddings that anyone was like, oh yeah, that person. Like, because I feel like people like to pretend they know people, so you just say like a random name, and people are just like, "Oh, of course, yeah."
Because I do that too. When somebody's telling me something, and when they keep saying it, I'd be like, "Okay, yeah."
See, I'm the opposite. My mom always be like, "You remember your uncle such and such?" I'd be like, "I don't know who the fuck that is." She'd be like, "Well, when you were a kid, I was like, Mom,
like
okay,
they
cool."
want me to know so bad. I just be like, yeah.
I'd be like, just what are you trying to tell me about this person? Let's get to that part because I don't know them. I can't remember them. I was like, whatever. But yeah, nobody really questions it because they do that throughout the rest of the movie where they're just like, yeah, Aunt Liz and Uncle Ned's kid and such. It just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
Which, now that I'm fucking thinking about it, if they're supposed to be related to the family, why is he hit? I don't know.
See,
I don't
and
know
that's
how.
what I was thinking the same thing while watching this movie. I was like, because wouldn't they just be sleeping with their family members then?
Like, how
if
far
they're
removed?
supposed to be like
Yeah.
our friends invited to this wedding? Like,
See, that's the thing. Is it are they like relatives by marriage
Exactly.
or something like that? Because it is kind of weird
people are
that
just willing to sleep with their
you're
uncles, their cousins.
exactly. She's like, oh, you're Aunt Liz's son. I'm gonna hit that. Like what?
Exactly.
Fucking weird.
So then we get introduced to Claire and Gloria, but we don't know their names yet. But we see them walking, and Gloria comes out first, and Jeremy's immediately like, "Oh, that's mine. I want her."
No, that's the thing. Claire comes out first. He sees her. That's why he was like, I'm not even gonna fight you for her because he's already got his mind set on Claire.
Okay.
So they essentially come out at the same time because they're part of the wedding party. So he sees Claire, and it's one of those love at first sight moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, yeah, okay, dibs, even though he doesn't say it out loud. And then Gloria comes out, and he was like, dibs on the redhead. He was like, you can have her. Not even
Yeah,
gonna
not
fight
gonna
you
fight
because
you over her.
he's already made up his mind. Like Claire's the one, which I've never understood the love at first sight thing in movies because it's like you've been going to all these weddings, and what's this girl's name? Rachel McFace.
Don't disrespect her like that. Okay?
First off,
It's
her name is
Rachel
Girl. Her
McAdams.
name is Girl.
Rachel McAdams.
Her name
is Rachel.
Her name is
Her name is Rachel McAdams.
Girl
Her
from
name. Her name is Rachel McAdams.
Girl from Mean
Rachel
Girls.
McAdams. Okay.
Anyway, Girl from Mean Girls. That is her name. When I've seen some of the girls that they've taken down, especially when John was taking down that Indian girl because she was nice. She's not even like the best one they've had, but
She's really. I don't think the color of the hair that they picked for her did her no justice.
well, it was like dark, honestly.
She just looked washed out. Like she looked super pale. She
kinda-
looked like a vampire. Like
But she
was
looked
trying
kind
to
of
be
the same in
Twilight.
Doctor Strange too, and in Sherlock Holmes. So I mean,
Like washed out.
well, just like pale, like white. You know what I mean? I think it's the. I'm trying to think because in Mean Girls she kind of looks pale, but I also think she's standing next to people who are different. Like Amanda Seyfried is kind of pale, but the other girl is a little on the darker side.
But the
I don't
hair,
know,
I'm
man.
saying the
It's the
hair that they
blonde.
used, the hair that they used this time though, it just really washed her out. I didn't see her in Doctor Strange. I didn't even see that movie.
Well, you're not missing anything. So.
I don't know the other movies you named. I did see Mean
Sherlock
Girls.
Holmes is the other one.
I don't see that one.
That's why I say
didn't see that
Girl
one.
from Mean Girls. What else do you know her from? Was it? Is she?
A Time Traveler's Wife.
I never saw that. Is that her in The Notebook?
That is her in a notebook.
Yeah, I hate that movie.
I love
Okay.
that movie. We
Of
should
course
get
you
that
do.
movie.
Hell no. Hell no.
One day.
We will do it, and I'm going to have a lot of bad things to say about it because I hate that stupid ass movie. Anyways,
Wonderful.
so they're at this reception, I guess. You shut your mouth, dog. We're at this reception, and they're meeting everybody kind of like,
Oh no, not yet. Because then we
What?
get to why when they were before
Oh,
they set
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
IDs, they're reading their vows to each other.
oh yeah.
And Claire's the maid of honor, and
She
she
is-
just starts dying.
Well,
like
because
she's up there laughing.
Dude is like, you're my first mate. Because they're using like sailboat analogies, and it's just corny as all get out. And I would laugh.
Yeah, she just loses it. And then we get to where she's arranging the gifts, and John is taking a gift over there. This is at the reception.
Yeah.
And he just starts naming every present that's in the box.
And
Like trying to impress her.
how do we even know he was right? We know he was right about one for sure, but we don't know if he was right about the other ones. Well, I guess since he's been to so many weddings, he's pretty much figured out the game. I guess I guess that's
But
what
like,
we're.
what are you going off of? Because he's just looking at him like,
Oh,
this,
size.
this, and this is this. Like, I
Yeah.
can see if he was like picking them up and like kind of shaking it a bit, or maybe
Well, he
just,
said
like,
he was psychic, so he couldn't pick him up. He has to just be like, "That's what this is," you know.
Gross.
But yeah, so clearly he's flirting with her, and she's enjoying it. She's having a good laugh and all that good stuff. Then we're meeting. He gets to meet the senator, and they talk. He tells him about his paper or something like that, or an article he wrote in a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I believe that he already knew about him. I don't think he researched it. I think he knew, because
Okay.
that kind of knowledge you can't just like remember in the day. He was just kind of like, yeah, oh yeah, I remember this and that, and oh, you said this, and he was like, oh, you read that? He was like, yeah, of course I did, son. Like,
Yeah, he's like, I think you're right, and everybody else is wrong. And
yeah, and he was, wait, we just got to get Congress in there. The fuck up.
So then John goes back over to Jeremy because Claire comes over and gets her dad. Archie tells him that somebody needs him.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we get to, she's about to do a speech, and she starts reading it a little bit to him, and he was all like, no. Like, what was the speech? Like, I never
Well, no, that's
knew.
what she did. She gave him the speech so he can read it, and she
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
'cause he was like, and then she asked him to go over it, which this is a bitch move on her part, because she asked him to go over it and then was like, no, fuck your opinion. I'm going to do my own thing. I think this is great. And he was like, he told her straight up, like, yo, these are jokes. They're not going to land because they're mean.
Yeah,
Like-
like you need to speak from the heart. And she's like, no, they're funny.
People like that because it's funny and it's true. It was like, yeah, but for like small things, like this is big and it's kind of hurtful.
Like, you're talking about that they only like their looks and money. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you're pretty much saying.
Well, that's what she says, because her little stupid ass speech, she's like, I've never found somebody who cares about what other people think as much as whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and then
Nobody,
crickets.
nobody laughed or anything.
She was like, okay, that joke didn't land. Better try another one. It's not the only thing they have in common. Their favorite color is green.
like money.
And it was like, once again, crickets. I was like, you thought that was so goddamn clever.
So she just used with John told her, and she
Just
spoke
go
from
from
her
the
heart.
heart.
And everybody applaud. And then we get to this is kind of before, but Jeremy's over there grubbing up on some crab cakes. He already made it known, like he likes
wants the crab cakes. Yeah.
That's where he's going.
He's like, if
for.
you find some crab cakes, just make sure you get a handful of those.
Exactly. So a lady that Jeremy has slept with is
At a different
there.
wedding, at a whole nother wedding.
Is there. So she's starting to walk up to him. So they have to do quick. He's like scuba diving accident. So she comes up to him. What was his name? Shlomo?
Shlomo. What a name. You're like, Shlomo, is that you? It's me. And he was like, oh, you didn't hear? Shlomo had a scuba dive accident. Came up too fast. Went completely brain dead or something like that. He's just being weird. Just
Right,
doing-
starts flicking his fingers.
fucking
He's
weird.
Like, she was like, "Well, I could stay if you want. I could stay if you want me to." And then he really starts getting crazy.
Yeah, he
and
was
he's like, "No, it's fine. I'm just gonna take him to the bathroom and then get some crab cakes."
He was like, and he starts doing all the extra. She was like,
Yeah.
okay, crab cakes, then
the
the bathroom.
bathroom.
My bad, buddy.
So she ends up leaving, and then Jeremy ends up dancing with Gloria, and
He's showing the fuck
yeah,
off.
he is. He's showing off. He's got them. No, sorry. First, he's making balloons.
Oh, for the kids. And that one kid, I want a bicycle. He's like, the fuck? Like,
Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna make you a bicycle.
Yeah, he's like, a bicycle's going to take a lot of balloons, and I don't have that kind of time. What if I make you a giraffe? I want a bicycle. He was like, you know what? I want to make this bicycle. I'm not going to like it.
Shut up, clown.
I'm sorry. I'm fucking that.
Right? Like, what the heck? And then Gloria's like checking him out. She knows it. So he makes the kid a bicycle. So then after
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. So after he makes the bicycle. She goes over there and they start flirting. And he was like, I can give you a dance. And she was like, well, that's what I really wanted. So they
Yeah.
start dancing. And like you said, he is showing out and showing off. And the senator is just sitting there
Scowling.
Yeah.
He's looking right through him. He's not looking at him. He is looking right through him. That's scary. I don't want to ever.
Dancing with his baby girl.
Yeah, I get it. I wouldn't want a girl like that.
So yeah. So then what happens next?
Well, then he starts talking to Gloria more, and he's like, telling her the same shit he tells everybody about losing people and stuff like that. He was like, I didn't want to talk about it. I'm gonna go get some air. And he goes to walk, and then she follows him, and then, he gives her that whole spiel about we are one with the universe. Everything is one. My hands are your hands. My lips are your lips.
And she's just eating it up until they pretty much have sex on the beach. And then after that, it goes to John is dancing with the flower girl. And then after he gets done dancing with the flower girl, we meet Kitty Cat.
Kitty Cat.
the secretary's wife. And she basically told John that she cheats on the senator.
Well, yeah, they danced, and he was like, so, what's the senator like or whatever? It's just like, oh, we've been married for 30 years, and we were faithful for two of them.
She said, I was only faithful for 2.
She said we.
Oh, I thought she said me.
No, she said we've been faithful for 2 of them. So, I mean, it's very obvious like that they're both fucking other people at some point. Well, at least she is for sure. He never even lets it be known. I think he's just too wrapped up in other things, like fucking what's his face.
Who, Todd?
No, well, yeah, Todd is hilarious.
That was just bring up Todd.
We skipped it when he was like,
"Dad,
you are my bitch lover."
Yes, Todd. Show them that meat ocean.
He just flips him off. Like, damn, dude, that was fucked up. Because he asked him, he was like, yo, Todd, he's a little weird. By the way, I have to tell you, it is Christopher Walken playing Senator Clary. So it's fucking amazing because he's dope. But yeah, he's like, he's like, that's my son. He's weird. He could inherit everything. He's had every advantage I have.
He chose art and all this other stuff. And John was all like, no, he's expressing his creative side. He's like, what is blood? He's like, he one time drew a blood on a canvas with a stick. And then John was like, well, it's art. He's like, it's crap.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Todd is a trip.
That's when the death you are. What do you say again?
Death, you are my bitch lover. He screams it into the ocean.
Oh, God.
He was like, yeah, it's a start.
Yeah, so then after that, we get back to Jeremy and Gloria. And Gloria's all like, oh, my gosh, like, that was amazing. She said, that's how I knew what I wanted my first time to be like.
I always imagined my first time would be on a beach. And he was like, yo, what?
And she was like, yeah. And then she starts telling him, I love you so much. And so then he starts freaking out and he runs to John and he was all like, let's go. We got to go.
Well, that's after, because these scenes run simultaneously. So it's hard to keep track. But John is also talking once again to Claire. And then we find out she has a boyfriend.
She has a fiance.
Fiance, boyfriend, whatever the fuck. Played by Bradley Cooper. This guy, Sack. What kind of dumbass name is Sack? I'm sure it's too easy to make fun of, and not once did anyone use the phrase ball sack.
And when she introduces Sack to John, he says, "What's up, fellow?"
Yeah, what's up, fella?
Yeah, like what?
I'd be like, bro, don't ever fucking call me fella again. Like, I don't know what it means.
All right, this kind of offensive.
I'm sure you didn't mean anything by it, but I feel like we need to fight now. Like, we have to throw hands. You can't call me fella like I'm some sort of fucking child. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, so then Gloria tells, so like I said, Jeremy goes running to John and he's panicking.
We have a stage 5 clinger.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta go. He's like a virgin. And he's like, we gotta go. And John was like, no, I need more time. He's like, what do you mean you need more time? We gotta go. I just told you that I just popped this girl's cherry and we need to leave right now. She's a stalker. And then she comes up and she's all like, oh, do you guys want to come to the boathouse with us? And
yeah, John is like, yeah, we'll definitely come to the
Jerry
boathouse.
Was all like, no, we can't. And John was like, why can't we? Like not helping at all.
Yeah, no, because he wants to go. He's still trying to seal the deal apparently, but it's really like he's just trying to steal somebody's girl. Like, it's fucking weird, man.
Yeah, he went all the way just to steal on a lie though too.
On a lie.
So, Gloria goes over to ask the senator, you know, if they could come, and she starts throwing a tantrum. And it's funny because Jeremy was like, "Look at her, look at that.
That's
She's
a
like,
fucking child."
Yeah, she's over there throwing a tantrum right now. And she was covering her ears,
Holding her breath
Yes.
and stomping.
and then they finally told her that that they can come. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was mid drink. Indubitably. But yeah, so they go to this thing, and immediately they're like, "Oh, we don't have any clothes." I'm like, "Oh, we got all that for you." They come out looking like straight up preppy goofs.
John was like, "You look good."
He was
Jeremy
like, "You know what I'm gonna say? Yeah, I know, but you look good." He's like, "You know I don't look good."
Jeremy's having a fit the whole time that he's
to wear
there.
that stupid ass sweater vest. And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna play a game of football." And fucking Sack is taking this shit way too serious. He's stretching. He's doing little calisthenic workouts. He is way too into this shit. And yeah.
Yeah, so then they start playing some football, and
Oh my God.
Sack knocks Jeremy out. Like, it's supposed to be touch football, and he kind of just like rams him over. And then doesn't even apologize. He just says, "I don't know what's gotten into me. I'm just so hyped." And Jeremy's on the ground talking about, you know, "I can't breathe."
And then the second one, what even happened? Oh, he caught the ball. And then, Sack just runs right
he
through
was
him.
being the quarterback.
No, not the second one. The first one, he was the quarterback.
No, it was the second one.
The first one.
Second one.
Listen, before you disagree, because you're wrong. The first one, he goes, "Hey, I need you to throw an interception so that we can get her confidence up." That's the first one. And he gets on the floor, and he's like, and he's still, because she gets the ball, and he kind of like tags her, and they're still flirting. The second one, Owen Wilson's character, John, is the quarterback, and he throws it to Jeremy, and then Sack runs through him. Because she tags him and is like, "Oh, I got you." And he's like, "No, you didn't. You're cheating." I know what I'm talking about.
We'll see.
What are we going to see? We saw yesterday.
We'll see
You
again.
pay attention.
We will see again.
I'm watching this movie again.
Okay, so yeah, so then what happens next after he knocks him out again? Oh, so everybody's running over to Jeremy, you know, like try to check what's wrong with him, and John is just super selfish because he was just like, you know, every time I look over my shoulder, you're on your ass.
He was like, "I would scream at you if I had any air in my lungs."
So Gloria takes Jeremy up to the bathroom.
She takes care of Jeremy.
And he has his pants down, and she's like working on his knee, like dabbing it and everything. And then she tries to start having sex with him, and she gets on top of him and starts swinging her hair in his face.
All in his face, hair in the mouth, all that shit. It's not even sexy. He just looks stupid.
Right, and then the servant walks by.
I don't like calling this dude a
I
servant
know,
because he's black.
The help walks by, and
That's not any better.
I
There's
don't
no
know
right
what
way.
to
There's
say.
no right way to say this. God damn it.
the butler.
That's better. It sounds like a title.
The butler walks by, and he was all like, you know, Miss Gloria, next time, why
Be
don't you
more
close?
discreet.
Yeah, close the door. And she's like, "Okay, thank you." So he closes the door, and then Jeremy was like, you know, "Gloria, I don't think this is working out. Like, you know, maybe we should take it slow or whatever." So she gets off his lap and slaps his knee and screams.
And she slaps the wound.
Yes, and then she like sprays a whole bunch of alcohol on it.
Yeah, she was like, "My daddy told me about people like you. I'm not just another notch on your belt," which is said throughout this movie quite a bit. And yeah, so then he's just like, "No, I just wanted to get to know each other and all this other stuff." She's like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't ever leave me, cause I'll find you."
And I was like, "I'll find you." Like her voice got
I
all
swear to
like.
Creep, yo, women, man.
So he's on his way downstairs and he sees John, and he's, you know, trying to convince John, like, we need to leave the house. John doesn't want to leave. So then after he stops talking to John, the senator comes and talks to Jeremy and was
Says
all
the same
like,
thing.
"Yeah, you know she's not just another notch on your belt, is
My
she?"
daughter, she's not just another notch on your belt.
So
My Christopher Walken is pretty good.
it's okay.
It's pretty
So-
good.
So Jeremy was like, no, no, she's not. She's not at all. And he was like, all right, because if you hurt her in any way, I will fine you. I'm a guy you don't want to mess with. And then he was like, all right, well, I'll see you at dinner.
And then dinner. What an awkward situation for everybody involved. Dinner is a fucking mess. You have this racist ass, homophobic ass grandma just saying whatever the fuck she wants.
Oh, but before they even go to the dinner table, Jeremy gives John some eye drops and tells him to put it in Sack's drink.
Yeah, because Sack is being a piece of shit. He's telling this story about how he saves a baby
The pig.
otter.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking annoying.
So, because, at first he wasn't going to use it. And then he just started doing his otter impression. And he was like, all right,
Give me those
give me the eye drops. So, they're all at the table. And like you said, the grandma's being homophobic and calling Todd out. Todd was quiet the whole time.
Yeah, because she just kept going, he's a homo.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I don't eat meat or fish. And he was like, because he's a homo. I was
Exactly.
like, yo,
And
the fuck?
Todd's stomach is starting to bother him, so he leaves the dinner table early. And then Jeremy is getting...
He's getting a hand job under the table from Gloria.
And he's like, you see their hands, like he's trying to tap her hands.
Right?
To
He
move
was like,
in.
what did he say something about? He was like, oh, this bitch it feels so good. So good. Trying to get one of them.
So, yes. So then Todd leaves the table and he was all like, if anybody needs me, I'll be in my room painting homo things. He goes upstairs, but he looks directly at Jeremy when he says it.
Well, that's because Jeremy stood up for him when he was like, oh, hey, he was like, oh, you go to this art school. That's cool. Hey, leave him alone, man. Everybody does their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he was like, oh, yeah. He was like, he starts smiling at him, but I don't think Jeremy saw that shit because he winks at him too. Like, I got your back kind of deal, but it didn't. I don't know. It didn't register for everybody.
So, yeah.
And yeah, Claire's like, oh, I'm going to go outside and get some air. And he was like, yeah.
John was like, yeah, do you mind
I'll
if
join
I join
you.
you? And
If
she
you
was
want
like,
some
sure.
company. Weird.
So he was like, okay, let me just go change my shoes.
Weird.
Yeah, like, why do you need to go change your shoes?
So,
I
yeah.
didn't understand that.
I don't know, man. So he goes to change his shoes, and then we're introduced to the alter ego of the wife, Kitty Cat. This is late. She comes in. She's wearing what, like a robe or something like that?
Yeah,
And
while John is changing his shoes, she comes in the door and she's wearing a robe.
he's like, we've been playing this cat and mouse game all day.
He's like, who? You and me?
What? I don't know nothing about no cat and mouse game.
And then she just opens her robe and shows her. She's like, no, I just got my boobs done. The center doesn't care anything about my boobs.
Tits.
And
She says tits.
Yeah, tits. And then she just opens up her robe. And then he's like, ah. And she's like, feel them. And he was like,
what?
yeah.
I'm not gonna. No, he said, with all due respect, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like, no, I'm not gonna just grab. He's like, feel him. I'm not leaving this room until you feel my tits. So he does it.
Yeah, and she's all into it. Her head goes back and her eyes closes. And then she goes, closes her robe and goes, pervert.
Well, he's critiquing him. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
these are really,
They're really nice.
good. Like, oh,
Soft.
he's like,
They're very well rounded.
yeah. Why is he giving like a 5-star review on these tits? It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so yeah, he's just like, he walking down the hall, and that's when Todd is like, she made you feel her tits, huh?
Her mom made you feel her tits.
He was like,
what? Did mom make you feel her tits?
He's like, you better not be fucking with me, Todd.
He's like, just don't tell my dad. What did he say? Oh, my friends, Claire's friends told my dad once, and now he stays in Guam.
now he lives in the shack in Guam. He's like, you better not be fucking with me, Todd. He was like, he just gave him that look like, do I look like the face? This is the face of a guy who jokes? No. So
So John passes Jeremy, and he's all distraught and just in his head, and he was all like, Jeremy was like, what's wrong with you? And then he was all like, I forgot, the senator's wife made me feel her tits. And he's all like, what? Oh my gosh, grow up. Be a grown man about it. I just got, what did he say? I just got my balls rubbed underneath the table in front of everybody. And he was all like, you're just crying over here because she made you feel her tits. But what really? Were they nice? Were they supple? Did they have the thing? Like, he just
Nah, he
started
started going
asking
into
questions.
details,
Yes.
exactly.
Did you motorboat him? You motorboating son of a bitch, you.
But yeah, so then John finally gets out there to talk to Claire. And I don't even remember what they were talking about, but it must not have been super important because they were just like, "Hey, you're cool. Oh, you're cool too. I like your jokes. Oh, thank you. I thought it were corny. No, they were good jokes."
Yeah, so then the senator comes out and he's like, "Hey, have you checked on Zach? You know, he's not feeling too well." And she's like, "Oh no, let me go see if he's good." So when Jeremy goes upstairs, he finds that the grandma is sleeping in his bed. So then he tries to wake her up, and she's like, "What?" He's like, "This is my room." And she just looked around. She's like, "Well, you're going to have to carry me then because I'm not moving." So
And then he carrying her, and the butler comes back out, and he's like, "Man, be gentle with her. She's an old lady."
It's all like-
He's like, "No, that's not what's happening."
It's
Like,
pretty much told him that he's fucking everybody in the house now. He's like, "What? Do you want me to go get the dog for you too?"
oh, yeah, he does. What a fucking asshole.
So he was like, "Yeah, no, it's not like that." And that's what he's like, "Just be gentle with her. She's pushing 90."
And then we got because then we get to Claire and Zach's being a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, all
She
she
was
was
like-
asking was, "Are you okay?"
He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm hunched over this toilet bowl puking because I'm fine. If you want to make yourself useful, why don't you go get me a 7-Up?" And I'm like, "You go get your own fucking
Right?
7-Up, nigga. Like, who the fuck are
Exactly.
you talking to like that?"
So yeah, then we get to Claire and John are
Well,
being
Gloria
weirdos.
ties up Jeremy first.
Okay.
She sneaks into Jeremy's room. She ties him up, and she's like, "You know what? I think the problem is I haven't been adventurous enough for you." And yeah, she rapes him. And then we get to this weird John Mayer song, and Claire and John are tiptoeing to each other's rooms and going back.
Like a bunch of creeps.
It's very creepy, honestly.
And just listening through the doors.
That was the weirder part. Like, he goes, I know why he's going, right? I get that. He goes to the door and he's like, "Nah, never mind. I'm not going to do whatever it is I thought I was going to do." But then she gets up and then she goes to his door and she's like listening in, and he hears her listening, I guess, because he kind of like,
He
I
turns
don't
to the
know.
door.
It's fucking weird.
and then he's like, "Oh, it's nothing." So he looks back out the window.
And this song is bad. It is corny as all outdoors. It's got to be John Mayer to be that fucking corny. That's why he doesn't make music anymore. 'Cause he's trash.
Yeah, so then after that, Todd sneaks into Jeremy's room and he wakes Jeremy up, and Jeremy's just all like, "Oh my gosh, like what the hell?" So he's telling Todd, like, get out of his room, and he's trying to be in a nice way though. And then Jeremy was like, Todd was like, "I drew you a picture," and then he shows them, and then it's Jeremy in the woods with a leaf in his hand and over his junk.
Is junk. Yeah, because he's like, "We had a moment." He was like, we did have a moment. I saw it. He was like, "No, we didn't have a fucking moment. Like, what are you talking about, bro?"
Yes, and the secretary comes, and he's about to come into Jeremy's room, and then Jeremy's telling Todd, like, go hide.
He was like, "No, they need to know
He's like,
about
"No,
us."
they don't need to know nothing. They don't need to know nothing. Just go hide." So then Todd gets underneath the covers. He's like, "Fuck, not there, not there." He's like, "Go
Get
in the
in the
closet."
closet.
No, get in the closet. Get the fuck in the closet.
And he was like, "I'll come out at just the right time." He was like, "No, do not come out at the right time." Yo, Todd is insane, bro.
So yeah, the
Oh, my
senator
God.
comes, and I honestly don't even know what is he talking to him about.
Well, he just comes in and he was just like, "I thought I heard something." He was like, "Nah." He was like, he's still, mind you, Jeremy is still tied up.
Yeah.
The senator touches the ropes and everything, like, "Huh, all right, whatever you're into, buddy."
And then looks at the picture that Todd drew him.
He was like, "Todd gets night terrors." And he was just like, "Yeah." And that was it. That was like the whole conversation.
Yeah, then
And
he just leaves.
He's like, "All right, cool." Good talking to you.
So then after he leaves, Todd hops back in the bed and he was all like, good, now we can be alone. And Jeremy was like, no, please, like I'm really
He was like,
tired.
if you let me sleep, we could talk about this tomorrow. Just let me sleep.
So Todd leaves, and the next day, John is just sitting at the table
Man,
eating.
That looked like a good
Right,
spread,
it
though. I ain't
did.
gonna lie. That
Got
spread
his
looked
orange
beef.
juice and everything.
Fucking crepes and scones and pancakes and waffles and eggs and potatoes.
Yes, and Jeremy comes downstairs and he's just looking tired. He's upset.
He's like, we gotta go. Let's go. Let's get the fuck up out of here.
And then John was like, no, we need more. I need more time. He's like, I was raped last night. I had my own sock duct taped in my mouth. And John was like, what? He's like, yeah, the sock that I've been running around in all day, duct taped in my mouth. And then John hears nothing.
No, he was
John
like,
hears nothing that he's saying.
he's
like,
selfish. He's very
yeah,
selfish
he
right
is.
now. Because he's just like, oh man, that sucks, but I need you to stay. And then he was like, rule number 1 of the Crasher's Graduate Handbook. He was like, never leave a crasher behind. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay, but I'm not gonna talk to you. He was like, I'm gonna go eat my breakfast by myself.
Yeah, he told him pretty much stop being a pussy and go talk to her. And
Yeah, be direct.
Yeah, tell
Dude.
her how you feel.
He was like, you're falling in love with her. He was like, no, I just met her. He was like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, and then we kind of skipped ahead too. So while Sack was still throwing up and everything,
Yeah.
he made a
Oh, yeah,
phone
yeah, yeah.
call to his friend, which
is-
they have. They're very good friends because he called him the Zach Master.
The sack master. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo. I'm sorry. I'm not doing all that.
But he wants to hire. He tells his friend to hire a PI that they used before, and he wants him to do some dirt on Jeremy and John.
Well, because at dinner they had mentioned that they had this business or whatever. I forgot what it's called, like Angels,
Holy Shirts
Holy
and
Shirts
Socks.
Holy Shirts and Pants.
yeah, there we go.
And he was like, so he wants him to go look into that and stuff like that. So that's that. You're right. And then they go sailing. There's a sailing trip apparently, and once again we get more flirting. We get more, talking. It's boring. It's very boring at that point. But when they get back, Sack is like, yo, quail hunt, motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's all ready to go. And then Claire was all like, babe, are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm ready to go. You ready to go? We're ready to go. Like, just talking all fast, being weird.
It's like he's on fucking coke.
But my thing is, too, and I actually did this while we were watching the movie, why the sudden change in Zach? Like, what gave him in Sack? What gave him... What gave him the reason to even want to hire the PI? Like, did he notice the flirting? Because it didn't look like he did.
And you're right, because it feels like it comes out of nowhere. Like he's just like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, and like with the whole quail hunting thing too. Like he was being an ass for no
he shoots
reason.
fucking Vince Vaughn with the fucking bird shot, which won't
Well,
kill
he
you.
shoots up into the air and it scares John, and John shot but flew back, and the pellets hit Jeremy in the butt.
No, I thought Sack shot him because I remember him flying, but I thought they were next to each other when he shot.
No, Jeremy shot him.
Okay.
I mean,
That's pretty
John
fair.
shot him. Jeremy didn't shoot himself. Yes.
I mean, yeah, so he gets fucked up with that thing, and yeah, it's pretty bad.
So they take him back in the house, and Gloria's in there pulling the pellets out of his butt.
What happens to Sack that Claire goes to the beach by herself? Because this is around the same time when
You know what? It doesn't. They didn't say.
or he was
because
just like, fuck it, I do what I want, and I don't want to go to no
guess
stupid
because
beach.
While they go on their bike ride and they're all flirting and stuff at the beach.
No, they're
we
flirting
get-
hard.
Yeah, because they end up kissing too.
Yeah, well, because he's asking her like, why are you marrying Sack if you
Yeah.
don't like? She's like, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to. I've always expected to get married to him, but
Yeah.
I don't think I want to anymore. They're playing hot hands and shit.
Mm-hmm. And then Sack goes and asks the butler, like, where's Claire? And he told her like she went down to the beach with John.
Yeah, and that's when he was
got
like-
all pissy.
And then this movie moves like really fast and then really slow.
Mm-hmm.
So even around this exact same time, Jeremy is having a conversation with Gloria about, oh, this isn't going to last through the weekend and stuff like that. She was like, I know you're a virgin. She was like, oh, what? I'm not a virgin. He was like, what?
He's like, yeah. He's like, yes, you are. You told me that at the beach.
He was like, I just thought that's what men want to hear.
Jeremy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she can say,
little...
she's like, duh, do I look like a virgin? I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment you think it is to yourself,
right.
but whatever. But he does. He feels manipulated, and it kind of like gets
turns
him going a little bit.
Yeah,
Fucking
it kind of
weird.
turns him on. So now he's downstairs drinking with the priest.
Telling him
Everything,
everything. He was like,
every
and she told me
little
she wasn't a virgin, and I'm into that. Maybe I'm crazy because she's crazy, and if I like a little crazy, like he's doing the Vince Vaughn thing that he does so well, and yeah, the scene is great because he's telling him everything. The priest, he was like, "What? You get horny? What do you do?" He was like, I pray. He was like, okay, whatever, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah. So then John and Claire come
Well, because
back.
he wants to tell her the truth.
Yeah. They come back and like you said, whoa, they are sitting at a table. They're sitting at the table and I guess they're about to eat or whatever. So then Zach goes ahead and be like, oh, well, we have something to tell you guys. And when he said this, I was thinking he was talking about him and the senator.
I thought so.
him and the secretary. But yeah.
He just speaks for her, which is an asshole move.
Exactly. So he was all like, sweetie, get up. And she gets up, but she's like confused. And he was all like, we're getting married. We set our date and everything.
And she looks confused as fuck.
Exactly. And he's giving her a kiss. And the mom was like, oh, great. Like, here we go.
Yeah, you can tell the mom was like, fuck Zach, man. I don't like this nigga. Like, he's been around here telling his dumbass stories about saving otters, and it's bullshit. But then even throughout all this, we learned that Zach is a piece of shit because he's cheating on her, and he just wants a wife. He doesn't really give a fuck, and he's really just trying to combine the families because that seems to be a really important thing.
Yeah, pretty much. He doesn't care what Claire does.
He doesn't give two shits about Claire. Well, unless it hurts his little feelings or whatever the case may be.
Exactly. So she goes outside because she needs air, and then John goes and follows her, and he's about to tell her everything, and then Zach comes outside. He doesn't come outside. The grandma has a gun, and she shoots at Jeremy. Like
Jeremy's running outside. He's screaming, and we're like, "What the fuck?"
Like,
and then
crazy old lady. And I guess the priest told the grandma everything.
Why?
And because Jeremy's like, I told you that in confidence.
Yeah,
you weren't supposed to tell anybody.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up because he does that and he tells them all this stuff because he's been fucking with Gloria, and then everybody's kind of mad at Jeremy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy's like, I don't give two shits. Fuck all that. Gloria, I love you.
Yeah.
Snap it, like, let's get this done.
And she's still into it, like, oh yeah, like
she's
she
way
wants
into
him.
it.
So, but then Zach comes out and he's all like, these guys. No, first he punches John. And then Claire gets in the middle of it. And it was like, yeah, what's going on? And she was all like, he said they're not who they say they are. They're actually wedding crashers and all this and this and that third. And I was like,
I was gonna say you said that.
How did he know? Yeah, how do they know that they're wedding crashers?
That's
like,
a weird thing for a PI to figure out. That's what I don't understand. Like, how deep did the PI go? Did he go to every wedding they've ever been to? Like, it doesn't make any sense that they would find out that information. It seems like a very, very, you would have to talk to literally every person who they've ever been to a wedding with to be like, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, I don't know who he is. I guess he just crashed my wedding. Because everybody at those weddings thought they were related. So why would they assume they were wedding crash? Like, none of that makes any sense. That is dumb. It is a very big loophole. It was like, these guys are professional wedding crashers. It's like, yo, what? Is that true? And he was like, well.
And she was like, it's complicated. And she's like, yes or no. And he's still trying to say it's complicated.
Well, yeah, because he said the whole thing. They go to weddings to pick up chicks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but how do you know that? How did I want to know who your PI guy is, because it's not like he could have followed them. They were there the whole weekend.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Huge loophole in this movie. And then it shoots this movie dead.
Yeah, now, after this, like, the secretary tells him, like, it's a ferry's coming. You guys better be on it. And then Todd was like, I want my painting back.
He was like, no, Todd, I'm keeping that. It was a gift.
So they leave, and this is when it does start getting, the movie starts getting
It gets
boring.
so
Yeah,
goddamn
it gets
slow.
slow.
It's mostly
and
John
it's just
sulking,
dragging.
yeah.
Pretty much. And then we get to now, John has this big idea. He wants to go to Claire's engagement party so he can, our rehearsal dinner.
No, it's a engagement party.
Okay,
Party.
yeah. He wants to go so he could tell Claire how he feels and he's sorry. And, Jeremy was like, just leave it alone. That's not a good idea.
Like, yeah, she hasn't answered your calls. She hasn't answered your emails. She's not talking to you. It's been 3 months. Let it go, bro. And he doesn't.
Yeah, he can't let it go. And he already got them, like, outfits to go to the party.
Yeah,
They're going to be servers
And
there.
once again, like you said earlier, he's not even listening to Jeremy. He was just like, this is a bad idea. We can't do this. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And he's like, all right, well, meet me there at 7:30. He's like, yo, what the fuck did I just tell you, nigga? Like, listening to what I'm telling you
Yeah,
is bad. But he doesn't do that.
So John ended up going by himself and gets...
He's being weird, though, because he's watching through the little kitchen door, just staring at
watching her
Gloria,
dance
dance
and
with her dad.
everything.
And then Sack beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, with his posse.
This weird fucking group of fucking Chads all over the place. Like, get the fuck out of here. And he was like, hey, did you guys see the rack on that redhead? He was like, don't worry, Sack. She'll come to you, man. Of course she
sure will.
Like, bro, I'm sorry. I don't know what you have to do to get a bunch of yes men around you like that, but I need that. I need that confidence for a dude to he's like, yo, did you check out the rack on that redhead? And they're just like, no, Sack, you're the man. She'll come to you, bro. I'm like, yo, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, then John ended up going to Jeremy's house, and he's knocking on his... he doesn't even knock.
No, he
just
goes in.
lets
Apparently he has
himself
a
in.
key.
Yeah, like, I'm like, you're just going to walk into somebody's house like that?
Yes.
But he walks right in, and Jeremy and Gloria are fooling around, and John is pissed. He's pissed off that he's still messing with Gloria, and that he left him hanging.
He has no reason to be mad. You went to this fucking weekend getaway to go steal somebody's woman. Period. It doesn't matter that he's an asshole, because guess what? Nobody else sees that. This is in the movie. We see that Sack is an asshole. We know that he's cheating. John doesn't know that shit. John doesn't know a single thing other than he doesn't like Sack. That's it.
He doesn't like Sack because he likes
because he's
Claire.
with Claire. Exactly. So yeah, dude, chill. You're in the wrong here. You're mad at Jeremy because he found somebody legitimate. Because he was like, yeah, where were you? My bad. I'm sorry I didn't go, but I was with my girl, all that other stuff. And then they fight and they don't talk. And then we get
to another montage.
Another sad ass song.
Jeremy
another fucking
sulking.
sad.
Not Jeremy sulking. John is sulking.
Yeah, he's going to weddings by himself, and he's being a complete douche at all of them. Like he's talking at weddings, and people are just like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Exactly. And then we also get to see Jeremy propose to Gloria.
Yeah.
Well, at first he tries to. At first he was like, I think we should take this to the next level. And she's like, oh my gosh, babe. I've been wanting to do the same thing too. Like, what is those two?
He was like,
girls?
those two Brazilians we met at that baseball game? Because I think they're pretty cool. They're pretty down to earth. He was like, that's not what I was talking about, but keep that thought for sure.
Like, I would love to do that. He's like, but I'm asking you to marry me.
And she was like, yes, of course. So he's sending him, Jeremy is calling John like, hey, I'm getting married and talk to, no, he doesn't. Yeah, he just says like, I need to talk to you or something, right?
Yeah, he just says, I need to talk to you. And John's not answering.
So he
then
goes
we
to
get
his house.
John's birthday, and Jeremy goes there with a sleeping bag. And then John was like, oh, it's that time already? I haven't even, I didn't even know.
He was like, just because we're not talking doesn't mean traditions have to break. And
yeah, so then they kind of make up, John was like, I'm happy for you. And
until he tells him he's getting married.
Yeah, he's like, okay, good. Because I'm getting married. I want to invite you to my wedding. Yeah. He's like, get out.
He was like, what? Respectfully, get the fuck out.
You just said you were happy for me.
I did. And respectfully, he just keeps saying it. It's just weird.
So Jeremy
kindly get out.
So Jeremy was all like, you better bring your ass to the wedding. I don't care if you're mad or whatever. Yeah. So John is just so sad and so desperate. He goes over to Chaz.
We got to do a little backstory because
Chaz
at least in Jeremy's eye, is
He's
like
the
the
man,
legend of
yeah.
Wedding Crashers. He's the
He's
reason
the one
he
who
does
started
this.
the
yeah.
whole thing.
And he always talks about how great Chaz is and how cool Chaz is. And Chaz is the man. Chaz is played by Will Ferrell. So you already know where this is kind of going. And he goes to Chaz's house. Chaz still lives with his mom. And Chaz is weird because
And his mom tried to kill him. They mentioned that his mom tried to kill him, like at the beginning. Of the movie.
they do
let
mention
be
that.
known.
He's like, you tried to poison him.
Yeah, because he won't get out her house. So yes, we meet Chaz, and he's telling John like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm Jeremy's protege."
He was like, oh, good, because I almost nunchucked you right now.
He's like, "Oh, glad you didn't." So then we see this hot girl come downstairs, and
He was like, all right, get out, do what you got to do.
and then he gives her a kiss goodbye,
Because
and then,
apparently she gets off on that.
yeah, and John was just like, wow, like, I thought you were kind of a creep when I came in here, but you still got it. And
He was like, I met her at a funeral. He was like, yo, what?
Exactly. And then he's like, he's like, hey, you want some meatloaf? It's like,
Ma, meatloaf.
meatloaf. What is she doing in there? I hate when she's in there. I don't know what she's doing.
He's like, I never know what she's doing. Ma, the meatloaf. Fuck.
So yeah, but John was just like, you're crashing funerals, and he's like, I'm not trying to judge, but isn't that a little low? He's like, no, man.
Nobody's
that's what-
hornier than a girl at a funeral, apparently. And oddly enough, I want to try that out just to see. I don't know what that means. Like, would you be horny at a funeral?
No, who the fuck is horny at a
I
funeral?
don't know, because they make it seem like
I mean, I guess
the
you
shoulder
would
to
have
cry on thing. I don't know. What does that mean? I'm trying to think of like what.
He's picking up women whose husbands
No,
or
the-
boyfriends just died. The girl that he picked up, her
boyfriend died. Yeah, he does say that. But when they go to the other funeral, they're just like bystanders.
Yeah.
He's got two girls wrapped around him, and he keeps making like humping motions to the priest. Like, what the fuck is?
Just a sicko.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
And then you could tell John is uncomfortable with
Very,
it.
because he sees the
He's-
wife.
He's in he's in deep thought, and then he looks at the wife, and he's looking at her pain, and he's not into it. So he leaves, and he goes to Jeremy's wedding, and they weren't gonna let him in at first, and Jeremy was like, no,
Hey,
that's
my
the
best man, son.
So they let him in, and he goes up there, and this is again, John is just so selfish. This man is selfish in this whole
Very.
movie because he starts talking in the middle of them getting married. And then Jeremy was like, okay, dude, like, glad you made peace. Now, can I get married?
But it's also weirder though, because it's like he talks initially to tell Claire he's not following her, but then continues to be like,
and then I'll be quiet now.
I thought of you every day, and I just can't stop thinking about you, and
Yeah,
I'm sorry for everything.
And then he keeps saying, like, okay, I'll be quiet. And then even Gloria looks at him like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm trying to get married.
Exactly.
And then Claire just ends up like, you know what? I can't do this. And
Which is also very selfish.
Exactly. She walks off the stage, and then he follows her and starts, speaking from the heart. And then he tells everybody that he went to a funeral.
That's
to pick
the
up
part that
Chaz.
had me dying. He was like,
you could have left that part out.
he was like, he said, I crashed a funeral today.
Everybody's
Not my
like-
best moment. I totally regret it. He was like, also, Chaz might be, he's like, you forgot
No,
to
he's
tell
like
me that
crazy,
Chaz is
yeah.
insane. Also, he might be a genius.
genius.
He was like, it works. He is cleaning
And then
up.
Claire's like, okay.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, so he professes his love and everything. And the whole time while he's telling her he loves her and that he wants to be with her, Zach is just sitting there.
does
He
nothing.
does nothing. Just lets him finish. And then after he finished, he's like, all right, I've heard enough of this. So he gets up, about to go and get John, and then Jeremy just comes out of nowhere and just knocks him out.
Well, before that, because he's like, Claire, get back up there right now.
Oh, yeah.
Get back up there. And she was like, no.
No.
But the no is
Claire, get your
I'm
ass
gonna
back
tell you,
up
like,
there.
this is confusing as hell to me, because the no is weird, because she should get back up there because it's her sister's wedding.
Well,
I don't understand.
It's a no, like,
That it's-
I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do it because you told me to do it.
It's just
Okay,
like,
Sack,
this-
you don't roll nothing up in here, Sack. Think you about to tell somebody what to do, and you ain't going to tell me
but
what
he
to do,
keeps
Sack.
saying that. He was like, Senator Clary. He was like, look, Sack, I put up with your dumbass stories because, I liked you and, all that other good stuff. He was like, but
if my daughter's not happy,
she doesn't want to marry you.
Yeah,
She's not going to marry you.
I
Get
stand
the fuck
by
up
my
out of there.
daughter.
And then he goes, that's when he tries to punch.
Then he tells the secretary, you don't know shit.
Oh, yeah. He's like,
He's like, what?
He's like, you don't know shit. He goes over there, tries to punch John, and then fucking Jeremy clocks the shit out of him.
He owed him that, though.
He said,
too.
I got you. He was like, yeah, I'm sure you did. Can I go get married now? Is that cool with you, or what's the deal?
So then they finally get married, and then they go with them. Why are they with them? That's what I didn't understand
that's
either.
another weird
They're
part.
supposed to be driving to their honeymoon.
My God.
But John and Claire are in the back seat.
That's what I say. The end of the second half of this movie, or the third act, apparently, is just the dumbest fucking part. It's slow. It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of random nothings happening here.
They just threw it together.
It is. I felt like they were like, we did not think this through. Like, this movie should have either ended at the fucking house where with them meeting each other or whatever the case, or deciding to be together or whatever the case may be, but it did not need to go this far.
No, not at all.
Because like you said it when we were watching it, that ending is the cheesiest.
cheesy.
They're going to go crash a wedding as two couples. What the
'cause
absolute
they start saying
fuck?
like not lullabies, but like picking names for themselves. She was like, we're a folk singer.
We're a
group,
traveling folk singing group. And I was like, you've never done this. That's not how this
Right?
fucking thing works. Like, have you not been paying attention to the weddings? You're right. I just don't understand that. They got married and was like, hey, you guys want to fucking tag along?
Yeah, we're supposed to be going to our honeymoon, but it's okay if you guys come.
Not even just that. The wife, his new wife, is in the back fucking seat.
She's not in the back seat.
I thought she was in the back seat because John.
She's in the front seat. John and Claire are in the back seat.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I'm not. But I thought that John and Jeremy were in the front seat and Claire and whatever. Well, I'll take your word for it. But either way, who even suggested it? Wasn't it like John? He was like, well, there is a wedding, such and such. Like, no, man, this is. What are they even going to do now that they crashed the wedding? Because the whole point was for them to pick up chicks. What are they going to do now?
Yes, just have fun.
I guess. But they were at a wedding. There's not going to be a reception for that wedding? Like, I don't understand any of this.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Like, why wasn't there a reception for her wedding?
Because she didn't want one? I don't know, man. This is dumb. This whole thing, the ending of this movie is fucking dumb. This is a otherwise pretty good fucking movie that just ends poorly. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, the ending is not there for me.
So, with that being said, that was Wedding Crashers, the end of our month of marriage. And just a reminder that next month is listener request month, our fan request month, our whatever. So, please go to anchor.fm and go to, Date Night Pod?
Mm-hmm.
So it's anchor.fm/Date Night Pod. Go leave us a message. Let us know what movie you want us to do and why. And we will play it and we will do that movie and we will try not to fuck it up. But it will be fucked up.
It might be. Depends on what the movie is.
It'll probably be. It doesn't matter if it's a good movie. I'm definitely going to do my best to destroy whatever it is picked. But please go and do that. Thank you all for the support. Also, what do you give this movie? Is this a yay or nay?
Oh, gosh. Because of the second half of this movie, I'm going to say nay.
I'm going to say nay as well because the second half of this movie just drags. It's so
like I was just waiting for it to be over.
Yeah, this movie was over 2 hours long and it does not need to be. Like, you could cut half that stuff out.
You really could. It
Yeah.
wasn't good.
So we don't know what we're going to be doing next week yet because we're waiting. The fans are going to decide what we do. So you'll just have to stay tuned for that. Babe, you got anything?
Yes, I do. Thank you guys for all the love, support. We appreciate it. Thank you for following us. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Just thank you for it all. Thank you. And also, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram.com/key_ingredients. Hit me up for your edibles. I got my weekend's menu. I was going to say weekend special. My weekend menu. I got lemonade, strawberry lemonade.
See, the thing about that is people could be listening at any time, so the weekend is going to be different. So,
oh yeah,
just go to
true.
Key Ingredients.
Yeah, just go to there. Okay, that is right. But yeah, okay. So yeah, just follow me on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram for orders. Hit me up.
And on that note,
Bye.
bye.